conversation is, I feel like, as old as time around here. Like, what do you do? I feel like we have this all the time, the deadline. Do you trade your top prospects to try to win now?
Of course.
Or do you keep them for the future? You can look at it on both ways. You could say, glad you didn't trade Jackson Merrill when you had an opportunity maybe to trade Jackson Merrill as recently as this past offseason, or else you wouldn't have an all-star center fielder and somebody who was a million times better than Trent Grisham and a guy who, could potentially be a cornerstone for your team for many, many years to come.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side of the coin is like, well, they kind of have to win now in this window, or in 3 years, who the hell knows what this team looks like as far as general manager goes, as far as a manager goes. And all of your star players, well, most, are all aging, underperforming, or getting out of their prime. We don't know how many years Yu Darvish has left in him. Joe Musgrove, after 3 years, is gone. Manny Machado, if he's on his decline, it could get ugly. Same thing with Xander Bogaerts, and Fernando Tatis Jr. never can stay healthy. So, like, where do you side with? Do we just say screw it and try to go all in right now to maximize what we have? Because in 2 or 3 years, we have no clue. And by the way, Ethan Salas in 2-3 years, same thing with Leo DeVries. We don't even know when they're going to make an impact with this roster. Could be 4, 5, like 3, like it could be years down the road. So what do? Do you stand pat with not trading away your top prospects and try to get creative other ways and, building around the edges and getting guys that are fringe guys that hopefully can help? Or do you say, screw it, we need guys that make a major impact right now? Ethan Salas is not going to help this team anytime soon. Same thing with Leo DeVries. Let's go get Garrett Crochet. What do you do?
If I'm Eric Kutsenda and I'm representing ownership and I'm the chairperson and I got a general manager who's in his 10th season that is fighting tooth and nail to get this team into the postseason, there's no scenario on earth where I allow him to move either Ethan Salas or Leo DeVries. 0, zip, zilch. Because Eric Grupner is on the record saying that our payroll flexibility is now limited. Our TV revenue we were getting a year ago of $60 million per year, we've been cut off at the knees there. I'm not chasing anything down. All they do is chase here. Chased it down every single year. What's it gotten them? They had a run in 2022. You got to sustain something here, whether it's sexy or not. They went out and got Luis Arias, they're 15-49. They went out and got Dylan Cease, they're 15-49. They went out and got Juan Soto, they're 82-80. Stop chasing. Start developing the next Jackson Merrill, because your point is valid on all those veterans. But guess what? Who cares? I can build around Merrill and Tatis and Salas and DeVries in an ideal world at some point in the future if those players pan out. But if I'm Eric Kutsenda, there is no scenario where I'm giving AJ Preller just green lights on my premier players, consider some of the best prospects in the sport. There is no guarantee there. I understand it. But also, you have to have some payroll certainty. And when Salas and DeVries make it, they're not making $22 million a year like some of the players you're trying to acquire potentially at the trade deadline. Answer for me is easy. It's a mid-national league. Stay the course. You either get in and Preller keeps his job, or you don't, and you got changes.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in charge, because I would be very, very tempted to just like for the here and now, because that's what is most important, truthfully. We've said it every single year at the deadline. Worry about next year when next year comes. We'll worry about 2 years down the road when 2 years comes. I don't think anybody at the time, even to this day, I am fully okay with trading for Juan Soto. I know you lost potentially 2-3 all-stars in the deal with CJ Abrams, who's an all-star this year. We don't know about James Wood and obviously Mackenzie Gore, Robert Hassel, Ariarte. Like, those guys could be all-stars at some point, but I still would have done that in a second. Down the road, 2 years. Yeah. Has it kind of hurt the team? Kind of. You're missing out on some pieces that could be maybe really helping this club right now. But we still would have done the trade.
Yep, agreed.
So what's different now?
What's different now is there isn't Juan Soto.
Good point.
That's the difference. I mean, to your point, and I'm all for Garrett Crochet specifically. Young, controllable, doesn't make a lot of money.
Right.
That you have for multiple years.
How many years? It's two. Okay.
2 after
beyond
this.
Yeah.
Now, the issue is when you get him this year, you're going to put him in your bullpen because of all his innings. So he's not a perfect fit for 24, but he's a perfect fit for 25 and 26. he's not impacting a team with the same ability that Juan Soto potentially did when you acquired him. You thought Juan Soto would completely change everything and put you in the World Series. He got you close, not solely because of the way he played, but that's what has changed for me. It's like there is no Juan Soto. You are on the outside looking at a postseason spot. The team in 2022 that traded for Soto was 14 games over 500.
Yeah, they were fully invested.
They were in the postseason. They were likely going to the postseason at that time.
Yeah. And also, let's be real here. They did kind of back their way into that 2022
89
postseason.
wins, I don't think is backing their way in.
Well, they didn't.
They made it by 4 or 5 games.
Right. They kind of just. What I mean is they weren't playing great baseball leading into the postseason. Thankfully, they turned it around quickly.
Yeah.
But it's a question that this organization's probably discussing during this All-Star break. Like, what do we do? Do we let Preller do, it's crazy moves, or do we have to, pull him in because we probably know he's not going to be here like for much longer, and we don't want him effing things up by ruining our future.
So I just don't see it. And by the way, I don't think I want to see it. Like, I'm making the prudent decision here. You're going to trade away Ethan Salas. What if you do that and miss the postseason?
Well, then, I mean, Preller's.
You can miss the postseason without trading him away.
Do you honestly think, barring like a World Series run or even an NLCS run, Preller's here for the next 5 years?
Well, I can't. That's way too down the road.
Or
how can I do 5 years?
How about this? Finishes out his contract here.
If they make the postseason, 100% definitively yes.
Even if they miss the postseason next year?
No. Oh, if they make the postseason this year?
Like, is he
okay? He makes it this, misses next. Does he get 2026?
Right.
I haven't thought that long and hard on it. My guess would be yes.
I'm trying to say is we all agree Preller's not going to be here for like another decade. I think that's probably pretty like apparent, just because like whatever he's done, and he's done a lot, it's just not working to the level of what they thought it was going to work at. Like trading.
But he's like a cat.
I know he's not.
2021 people thought he was gone. In 2022 they're in the NLCS.
Well,
and there's an extension. And then 2023 people think he's gone. And then in 2024, what if they make the postseason?
Well, unfortunately, Peter Seidler's not here anymore with us. That's unfortunate for a lot of reasons. But going into the future, your time as GM is in the hands of Eric Grubner and Eric Casenda. And by the way, I don't think those two guys, and all three of them, I don't know if they all get along. So
yeah, but it's mute. All of it is mute. Make the postseason this year, he's back. Miss the postseason this year, he's gone. Who disagrees?